प्राज्ञेन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकथा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयूतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमदस्ला नामने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते शिला भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामने नमस्ते सरस्वदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं भङ्गं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्. So, today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 14, verse number 13 and 14. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. शुश्रूषो श्रद्धानस्य वासुदेवकथारुचि स्यान्महत्सेवया विप्रा पुण्यतीर्थनिसेवनात् शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना तृतीयान्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विधुनोति सुकृत्सताम् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी एवं प्रसन्नमनसो भगवद्भक्तियोगतः भगवत्तत्त्वविज्ञानं मुक्तसङ्गस्य समाचरेत्। विद्यते हृदयग्रन्थि सिद्ध्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि द्रष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दना च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रे. So we will read the verses first and very good. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Oh, I have to go. Don't go. Oh, sorry. Oh, my goodness. Chapter 14. Yeah. Chapter 14, verse number 13. Okay, now I'll go. Sorry about that. I always take time. Okay. So, verse number 13. Pura, very, Pura pitano Bhagavan Daksho Duhitru Vatsalaham Kam Vranidavaram Vatsa Itya Prachadana Prathak. Pura pitano Bhagavan Daksho Duhitru Vatsalah Kam Vranita Varam Vatsa Iti Aprachadana Prathak. So synonyms. Pura, in days long ago. Pita, father. Na, our. Bhagavan, the most opulent. Daksha. Duhitru Vatsala, affectionate to his daughters. Come, unto whom? Vranita, you want to accept. Varam, your husband. Vatsa, O my children. Iti, thus, aprachata, inquired. Na, as prathak, separately. So, in days long ago, our father, the most opulent Daksha, who was affectionate to his daughters, asked each of us separately whom we would prefer to select as our husband. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It appears from this verse that free selection of a husband was allowed by the father, but not by free association. The daughters were asked separately to submit their selection of a husband who was famous for his acts and personality. The ultimate selection depended on the choice of the father. We'll read the next verse also and then we'll go and discuss some. Saviditvatmajanam no bhavam sandana bhavanah Trayodasha dadattasam yaste shilamanuvritaham. So, saviditvatmajanam no bhavam sandana bhavanaha trayodasha dadattasam yaste shilamanuvritaham. So, sa, daksha, viditva, understanding, atmajanam, of the daughters, na, our bhavam, indication, sandana, children, bhavanaha, well-wisher, trayodasha, 13, adadat, handed over, dasam, of all of them, yeah, those who are, they, your, Shilam, behavior, Anuvrata, all faithful. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Our well-wishing father, Daksha, after knowing our intentions, handed over 13 of his daughters unto you. And since then, we have all been faithful. Generally, the daughters were too shy to express their opinions before their father. But the father would accept the daughter's intentions through someone else, such as a grandmother to whom the grandchildren had free access. King Daksha collected the opinions of his daughters and thus handed over 13 to Kashyapa. Every one of Diti's sisters was a mother of children. Therefore, since she was equally faithful to the same husband, why should she remain without children? So, Hare Krishna. Please, I seek your blessings to be able to say something suitable and appropriate for this context. So here we are this one. Maitreya Muni is narrating to Vidura how Diti, mother of the Asuras, is one day very much smitten by lust and approaching her husband Kashyapa Muni, and we saw the stage was set in the previous verses. It was the Sandhya, it was the evening time, dusk. So it was not an appropriate moment. And the Muni was in trance after offering sacrifices unto the fire. So it was a very divine atmosphere, but she is so smitten by sexual desire that she says, just like an elephant, elephant crushes a banana tree. That's how she says. I am so smitten, I cannot wait. And she is talking like a helpless. Srila Prabhupada says in later words, poor. She is rendered poor and miserable by her desire, overcome by her desire. And she is telling Kashyapa Muni, her husband, how it is but appropriate that she should engage in the process to obtain children, because her sisters have already had children, and they are all married to Kashyapa, as we see in this verse, how she is saying Daksha Prajapati's daughters, 13 of them were married to Kashyapa Muni. So she is recounting the story, how her father, the very opulent Daksha, inquired from the daughters whom they would like to have for their husband. So in days of yore, so the Daksha was very affectionate to his daughters. So we have seen how King Janaka, Sita's father, want to arrange for her Swayamvara. That is, he wants her to marry the best, most suitable bridegroom for her. So he arranges for her Swayamvara ceremony. That is one who can break the bow of Lord Shiva. He is the only one to whom Sita will give her hand. So those days, the kings, very opulent fathers, they arrange for the marriages of their daughters like this, according to their liking. So here it is said, so the father won't even directly talk to the children, the daughters. They can share with their desire to a grandmother or an elderly mother or some elderly figure who can communicate. So it was so, the father was so little bit, removed from their immediate sphere of, exchanges. So nowadays we have seen, Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport, that is, sorry, just in the purport for the next verse, every one of these sisters was through someone else's grandmother, and then they were allowed to share whom they would like to marry, but not through association. Nowadays, the daughters have their own lives. Once they leave the home for education, and their lives, their parents are kind of goodbye, and they will tell them what their intentions are, what their choices are. So this was not the case in those days. And Kashyapa Muni, such an exalted sage. And we have seen King, Daksha Prajapati marries, his own daughter, Sati Devi, is married to Lord Shiva. And and his own daughter, so many famous, this is how the progeny is coming from, this famous lineage. And so whereas we have seen in Krishna's story how he wedded the principal queens of Dwarka. Rukmini Devi has only through hearing, decided that Krishna would be her husband. And she sends the letter to through a Brahmana to Dwarka, and informs him that unless he marries her, she is going to, she is decided to give up her life. So and then we have seen how through so many how the Krishna's marriages are arranged in the 10th canto. So here Didi is in a moment of, she is very impatient to have children. And we have seen in the story of Gandhari, when Kunti Maharani got her children, she is impatient to have her own, and she of her own this thing, she gives birth to this immature embryo. She beats her abdomen and gives birth to the immature embryo, which is then in a sort of cut to 100 pieces and kept in those pots. And so outside her womb, the embryo is developed. So the impatient nature of women, jealous, even for the begetting children, they are not showing the patience. Somewhere else, Srila Prabhupada says in Bhagavatam that one has to be patient in cultivating the creeper of devotion, the Bhakti Lata. It is, we have to tolerate so many anarthas and unwanted, unwanted things creeping in. We have to be patient and cultivate the Bhakti Lata. Otherwise, it is just like a newly married couple. They desire to have children. The wife especially desire to have a child. But then she has to be patient, conceive and wait for the 10 months. So here, Diti, we are hearing this conversation about the most private subject matter between the most exalted sage and Mother Diti. So how she is just behaving like a very womanly behavior, not patient, jealous, and not respecting the time and the circumstance. So we have heard much discussion on this from Shatrupa Mataji, and how in the Vaishnava Sampradaya, how everything is taught to the young couples, how to approach the subject of inviting a soul into their life, and how it is the most the highest sacrifice that you are doing for the Lord in the process of devotion, devotionally. And so, I have only this much to for this class. Please fill in. There are 7 minutes left. Thank you very much. Please, please bear with me. I'm not prepared very well. Hare Krishna. Sorry if I misspoke anything. Hare Krishna. Gopal Hari Prabhu is there. Please fill in for me.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It was
Hare
really
Krishna.
fast. I really liked it, Mataji, as usual in the class. It was really nice. Yes. At the end, you were saying something about, I missed that, about this is the highest form of devotion, something like this you're saying in your last sentence. What were you referring?
That is bringing forth the progeny. That is we know how in the days of yore, like the Prachetas going to perform so many austerities before before they enter into grahastha life, like that so Vaishnava
Yes.
Sampradaya.
Yes.
Please speak, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yeah, I know this is a nice place, Mataji. And it's true that bringing Krishna conscious progeny is very difficult. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that if you could make your progeny into devotees, then have hundreds of children. And if you cannot make them into devotees, then don't even have one.
Yes. Yes. So Bhagavatam says, unless you are capable of liberating your children, don't even go there. You become a parent, a teacher, or a guru. So it is at most responsibility to our next generation to give them that knowledge and the practice by which they can obtain salvation, the highest goal of life. So at least here in Diti's impatience, we have the most famous personalities, demoniac personalities. The Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu are going to appear. But it is also in the same Hiranyaksha's son, the greatest devotee, Prahlad, is going to appear. So it would appear it is in context because it is enabling one more birth for the Jaya and Vijaya, one more of their birth. And it is enabling the Lord to fulfill his desire to engage in a fight with his devotees. When he has this Rana Priya, Lord Vishnu is likes to battle, give battle, and then engage in battle. And then he won't fight with the ordinary mortals. They are not equal to him. So his own servants play the role of enemies and fight with him. So such is the story behind the appearance of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu. So anybody else want to add? So then,
Thank you. I mean, other than how we can understand these great personalities, right? You talked about Gandhari and activities.
yes.
I mean, there is a plan of the Lord also. So, in the case of Priti, which is such a great personality, right? Doing this mistake.
Yeah. Thank you. Hmm? So it will be 2 minutes. So we might just Bhagavad Gita, Lord says, Dukheshu anuduktamana sukheshu vigatas praga vidaraga payakrodha stitadir muniruchyate. So we have to, that is when we are in distress, we have to be sort of detached and not immediately go into, we have to take it kind of with tolerance. And similar thing, that is when we are in happiness, we go all out to party. We just bear that also with some, this is coming from Krishna. So we are, we are thankful that way. And similarly, Vidaraga Payakrodha, that is without attachment. And then fear and raga, phaya, krodha.
Lemon, okay? Lemon. Sorry.
Vidaraga, phaya, krodha, stitatir munirichyate. That is the steady intelligence of a sage. But so this is these are contexts where which we can see through the lens of the Bhagavad Gita. That is, the call of lust is so such a powerful urge. It is it takes one to any extent to break the codes of religion or and of course in this age of Kali there is no need to and there is no dearth of examples. How people are so much injustice to women and young girls and children in the because of the desire of the intolerable desire and lust, driven by lust. People are doing so much to harm our own daughters and children. So the society has to really get educated in these principles, in these Vaishnava principles. And then only there will be some, there is no limit to how much Krishna consciousness need to be propagated. Books need to be distributed. Yes. And Lord Chaitanya's teachings should be propagated through each and every town and village. That is our mission. So this is how we can treat the misguided generations of Kali, misguided children of Kali. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, we can probably end the call.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhya vacha patitanam pavane vaishnave namo. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.